Thank you to everyone who's taken time to visit my channel today and watch my video. Your support means the world to me, and I'm grateful for every view, like and comment. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you on the track. Hi guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we are jumping into Automobilista 2 since the 1.6 update, and we are taking part in Low Fuel Motorsport's off-season race. This one was a 20-minute race round a track based in Ecuador. I'll just give you some information on the car. It's a 4-litre six-cylinder naturally aspirated boxer engine with 420 horsepower, 309 pounds-foot torque, rear-wheel drive, up to 4.2 seconds, and a throttle track speed of 188 miles an hour. I'll just give you some information on the track. Yahuarcocha is the history of motorsport in Ecuador. The country's only circuit and now a permanent venue. It has been a centre of racing since the earliest days. Once the host of the international sports car races such as the Marlboro 12 Hours of 1971, today it holds numerous regional and national championships. The circuit continues to be the epicenter of Ecuadorian motorsports, and there are occasional races from across the border in Bolivia. Like I said before, this race was a 20-minute race around the Yahuarcocha track in Ecuador. I qualified 10th on the grid in the Porsche Cayman GT4. This was actually one of my first races on the Automobilista game. I've had this game for about 5 years now, but not really seen any interest in taking part in online racing due to the fact the game was in its early infancy, and due to the introduction of LFM series. It's actually give a lot of interest to a lot of online sim races, so I just thought, why not take a part. So coming up into the first lap now, I'll just give you some information. I did put a little video of the race in the bottom left hand corner for you to watch, and found out the car was quite responsive in a lot of the parts of the track, but I did find out that it did take a while to get a lot of heat into the tyres and brakes. This car is just the car in the game is pretty much alien to me, because I've not really taken part in racing at all on AMS2 ever, to be honest with you. Like I said before, the LFM introduction has brought like a massive interest into sim racing, so it's it was worth a go. The only thing you can't do off season is, if you are involved in an incident, you can't actually report it, because the guys who actually do the stewarding obviously need a bit of time off over the holiday period, and therefore if you do lose points, there's nothing you can really do about it, I'm afraid. So you just have to be really careful. Yeah, the only thing I can say is, with it only being a 20-minute race, there was not actually any pit stops or tyre changes included. The game just actually sets up a lot of the default parameters for you to take part, and it's just basically just getting the car. I mean, you can play about with the setups, but with me, not playing this game for a while, I didn't actually do anything. I do know you can actually download ghosts to race against, to see how competitive you are. So if you do want to put a bit of practice in before you do take part, it's definitely advised on my part, especially for tracks that you don't know. Now, the only downside about this game, which I suppose if you are learning, you can't actually have the driving line on when you're racing. You can have it on when you're practicing, when you're qualifying, but when it comes to the race, you can't actually have that aid assist on, which for drivers like myself who are learning a new game in its entirety online, you may actually struggle. But I suppose in a way it's putting you right in the deep end, so you're gonna have to learn the track pretty quick. So my advice would be, if you are going to take part, is to do a lot of practice, and make sure you use all the driving aids, and also the replay options in the replay itself. A bit finicky, not really user friendly, I would say, a bit clunky. It's just one of those things. I'm sure that in due time, but this game has been out for quite a while, but it's still in early access. It will get better, obviously, like a lot of games do, but fundamentally the basics of the game and the way the cars feel and the way the game runs is, in my opinion, is very good. So, you know, going forward, they've only got to change a few of the little minor things. Definitely the replays, especially for content creators, they want to create an immersive experience for people to watch videos. So hopefully they will maybe address that in the near future. So as you can see in the video now, we are currently in 7th position from 10th on the grid. We've got a couple of guys behind us chasing us for position, and we've noticed that the top 6 guys in the front are slowly gapping. You can see the four cars in front, and then you've got the leaders. If you look in the top right hand corner, you can see first and second are basically on their own. I mean, obviously those guys are knocking pole on the grid. They're going to be very competitive, and they seem to be just those two pushing for the lead. But with this being my first GT4 race in the Cayman, the car was quite easy to drive at the beginning, but I did find later on in the race with the tyres, it sort of like got competitive and then fell off a bit and then got competitive again, if that makes sense. You can see in the little graphic in the bottom right hand corner where the tyres and the brakes are shown. You can see that the rear tyres, even after 5 minutes of racing, the brakes are still cold. I mean, primarily this car, with it being rear wheel drive, it just seems to find you're struggling a lot for grip, especially in the rear of the car. But later on in the race, as you will see in the video, it does actually change, but I think that could be down to the setup of the car and the way the car is tuned, I would say. But with me not having any experience on this, I just had to go with the default. But you can notice on the replay how hard I'm actually pushing the car. I am actually on the limit, but you seem to find that a lot of people who are currently taking part in this race are struggling themselves. As you can see, there's a lot of smoke going on for people spinning off. My only other little gripe was contact of cars, which you will see later on. If you do like a small little contact, maybe tap the rear end of a car, or you get tapped by another car, the way the car feels and the way it reacts is quite strange. It just seems to be like you're hitting a wall, and the cars just spin off, which is a bit strange. It's something to do obviously with the physics of the game. Maybe that's something that's how it should be in real life. I mean, I don't race cars for a living, but I don't know, it's just one of those. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. It'd be greatly to appreciate anyone who is taking part in LFM to get their feedback, and it would be nice to know what you guys think. Anyway, don't forget guys, if you do like my content, hopefully you are interested in racing games and want to watch future videos on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will get notifications when I go live and post future content, and it actually will help the channel going forward, and that would be greatly appreciated. So I'll revert back to the video and give you some voiceover for you, give you a bit more context on what's actually going on. If you look in the bottom left hand corner, you can see there's a guy called Ferry22. He's racing the Mercedes GT4. This guy was very competitive, but a very clean racer. I was doing my best defensive driving, as you would say, just to stay in the racing line, try not to make any mistakes, and hopefully, if he wanted to overtake me, is to do it where he would have to go round me. I wasn't going to make it easy for him, because at the end of the day, I was hoping to get in the top half of the lobby and maybe finish in the top 5 positions. So 6th position was good for me at the moment, but as you know, I've actually got 12 minutes left. There is also another thing I'd like to mention, just reverting back to the video. As you can see, and he's gone through, he's definitely got maybe running a little bit less downforce. I put full downforce on the car because I didn't know how it would feel, but the Mercedes, maybe he's changed the gear ratios, which you haven't actually tried to figure out how to do as yet. It may be due to certain criteria that you can pick during the beginning of the race, because I don't know what the parameters are for the online racing. It was just basically just getting in and just taking part in qualifying and just going straight off the bat. But maybe it's something to look into. Maybe you can go into a bit more detail, and do post a few more videos on AMS2. But the Mercedes is as you can see, is a lot quicker, especially in the straight lines. I've noticed in the cornering, I'm quite competitive. I can keep up with him, but I am actually on the limit of the car on the tyres. As you just noticed, there's a guy there who's just gone off. I think that was a McLaren. I ended up going back on the inside again of the guy to get position back, but made that really silly mistake, braked too late into the penultimate corner, running way too wide and losing a lot of grip, and therefore losing 2 positions in that incident. So what can you do? I mean, you've got to try your best. Anyway, moving forward. But like I said before, still going on with the race. I've got another guy behind me. I think that was the yellow McLaren that went off. He ends up coming up really close to me. He ends up hitting the rear back end of my car. As you can see, he's in the rear video. He's just basically just spins out, and that's what I was referring to what I just mentioned about the way the car works. Like I said, the physics. Don't know if that actually would happen in real life, but do let me know what you think, guys. Do you think it's realistic enough? Do you think it's a bit arcadey? Do you think the guys who are currently developing the game have got it slightly wrong with regard to contacting other vehicles? Maybe it's the weight of the vehicles. I'm not really sure. But maybe if you're racing a heavier car or a lighter car, it may actually be slightly different. But anyway, we'll get back on with the race. So, as you know, still in 7th position now, 20 seconds off first place. If you look in the graphic now in the top right hand corner, you can see first place is pretty much pulled away. He's on his own. Second is chasing him, but he's obviously not competitive enough. And notice that the blue markers on the map are back markers, I only presume. And there is also a bit of an issue with that going forward. I don't think the on-screen notification does actually mention when you need to be, I don't think personally, to move out the way for faster cars. So if you are actually coming up on a back marker, I don't think the back markers actually get that notification on screen to move out the way, because the way why I understand it is that you should only have like maybe a couple of corners to move out the way, or to be blue flagged, you know, to move out the way. But anyway, I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe because I wasn't one of the back markers, I can't really go into greater detail of why that would not be the case. But anyway, it is in its infancy in LFM. It's only recently been introduced, so obviously they're out previous, as far as I'm aware, it's currently in alpha testing at the moment. I'm sure they're trying to sort the servers out, get it all tweaked, make it better than what it is. I mean, as you know, they do Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione, they do WRC, they did do R Factor for a while, but that's been moved off now to another company called Race Control, if you are interested looking at. I've actually been on the website to look at R Factor, because I do actually have R Factor 2, to see if we can get into racing that as well, but not found any lobbies. Maybe it's something that they're doing in the future, but I will put a link in the description for you if you are so interested in having a look. So we've got 7 minutes left to go now. We're still in 7th position, and this is a bit of a strange one. As you can have another look in the bottom right hand corner where the tyres and the brakes are, you can still see that the tyres are up to temperature, but the rear brakes are fluctuating between cold still after 13 minutes of racing, which I thought was quite strange, but like I said previously, it may be due to the setup. Anyway, we've got 23 seconds off first position. If you notice by looking ahead on the screen, you can see there's about 3 cars that are still jostling for 4th position. And my hoping was maybe this car would actually turn the table and therefore be more competitive towards the end of the race with lower fuel. I was actually pushing, and if you do notice, you can actually slightly see I'm starting to gain on the cars in front. Now, did not notice at the time, but if you do actually look at the map in the top right hand corner, you can see that there is a couple of blue markers on the screen. Now they will, as I said previously, denote back markers. There is actually some of them in the pit lane now. Not sure why they've gone in, for maybe damage or due to, I don't know, tyre changes. Not 100% sure why that is. It's definitely something to look at anyway going forward. So 6 minutes left. Still in 7th out of 20th position. As you know, I qualified 10th on the grid. You can see that D-Sun in 6th is 2.9 seconds ahead of me, and we've got Draco and that guy Ferry 22 who was in the Mercedes. He's still in 4th position. Now, not 100% sure why the cars started grouping up together. As you had a look further up on the track, you can see there's now 4 cars together, and I think it was all down to the fact, as I've just previously mentioned, one of the back markers. Now, not sure why this would be the case, but hopefully maybe if it happens to me in the future, I can maybe give you a bit more context of why the back markers don't move out the way. It's definitely impeding the race. You know, like for example Gran Turismo or Forza. I mean, Gran Turismo is a great example of how it should be done, where the cars would actually be invisible, so it wouldn't actually impede you taking part and get distracted by another car being on the track. Forza's not quite as good as that. It just gives you a penalty to be added at the end of the race, which I don't agree with at all. I mean, guys, I'm sure you all race yourselves, you know, sim races or real life races, who knows. Maybe you can shed some light on that. That would be greatly appreciated. So this guy in ahead of me, as you can notice, he's in a Ginetta. This is the back marker I was referring to. Now, for some reason he just doesn't want to move out the way. For me personally, if it was me, I would be waiting until he got a little bit closer and then be pulling off the driving line. The cars ahead, as you know, are jostling for position towards the end of this race, and very important for them to race clean and not be distracted by the cars. Now this Ginetta was not really making much of an effort to help me at all. I mean, the only positive thing was I was slightly using a bit of the slipstream of the car, but wasn't giving me much of an opportunity to get past. Now this is the reason why. He does pull over here, slows down a bit, but on a personal note, he should have got out of the way a lot earlier. That's just in my opinion. Anyway, as you've noticed now, I'm gaining again. I'm within 0.9 to nearly a second behind 6th position, and the guy in front is just pretty much within a second of him as well. And we've only got 3.5 minutes to finish this race, so pushing as hard as I can. There's 4 cars in front of me. If you look further up on the main video, that's how close I am to a podium. Just trying my best. I'm sure if I could maybe spend a bit more time looking into how to tune cars, that would be definitely more competitive for me. I did notice there was another car that's just actually gone off. 100% sure if he was actually in the race or he was a back marker or not. I didn't really have a proper look at the map. With me being up to 6th position, I presume he was in the race. Maybe he ran out of fuel. Another consideration to take part, to note when you are taking part in these races, is the fuel itself. You need to know how much fuel you need to use for the race. There's no indication of, it will tell you how many laps you can use for the duration, but it's all mostly timed events. It's not going to say, well, it's going to be 30 laps, so put 30 laps of fuel in. It's going to be, it's 20 minutes, how much fuel are you going to use? So you need to maybe use a fuel calculator to figure out how much fuel you need for the lap, or basically put it in the chat and ask other drivers. Hopefully, if they're not all from different countries, you might get an odd guy who speaks your language and be able to help you on how much fuel to put in. But I just basically guessed, and I actually got it down to perfectly. The last lap I was on fumes pretty much. So as you can see ahead there, you see another guy go off in a yellow car. I think he was in a Porsche Cayman as well, not sure, but we're up into 5th position now, and we are basically chasing for now a podium with 1 minute 40 to go. We've got a guy in the Mercedes, that's that guy I was referring to previously. I think that could have been his teammate, because that Ferry guy, he's in 1st place now for some strange reason. Good for him anyway. And now he ended up hitting the back of that McLaren. And there you go, that's what I was referring to with regards to the way the car feels. Do you think if you hit the back of a car like that, it wasn't a hard impact, but why would the car spin out like that? I don't know if that's me or the game. Like I said previously, do let me know what you think. Does that feel realistic to you? Is it something that the physics needs to be addressed within the game, maybe, or maybe not? Obviously it's a different game, it's gonna play differently obviously, but anyway, well, there was my opportunity to get a podium. In 5th position now. I did feel I was competitive enough to maybe push for maybe 4th, maybe get a cheeky podium out of it, depending on the other 2 guys I had, but they were quite close together, as you can notice off the map in the top right hand corner. We've got 25 seconds of the race left. I just thought, just stay on the track. Hopefully the guy in 6th place, Leo, wasn't going to catch me. I did actually have a couple of seconds lead on 6th place, but due to no fault of my own, I did gain a couple of positions due to people either spinning out due to racing incidents or due to the decision to not put enough fuel in the car. Maybe that's why a lot of the cars on this track were during this race were very competitive. Maybe they've just not thought about the fuel loads. Like I say, it definitely needs to be looked into. There is definitely a lot of websites you can go to find out how to put in the right amount of fuel. So do bear that in mind if you do want to do a Google search to find out, to help you during the races, which is definitely worth having a look at. And as you've noticed now, Ferry guy, the guy in the Mercedes, is down into 4th position again, even though he was leading. So I'm not sure if the leaders actually went in the pits or not. It's a bit of a strange one. Anyway, we're coming round to the end of this race now. I'm pretty much on the fuel. I've got 1.2 litres left of fuel. The race is complete. You will notice that at the end you will get a cool down lap notification, which I never realised on the last race. I took part and slowed down, ended up losing a couple of positions, but you know, we are all learning at the end of the day. So anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I hope it didn't rabbit on too much about the game itself, but as you say, this game is in its early infancy regarding low fuel motorsport, but definitely worth checking out guys. Don't forget, if you do like my content, do please consider subscribing. I will put a video up in the corner for you to watch if you want to watch another video on my channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support, it means a lot. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.